Wait. There we go. And there we go. I think we're working. Yeah, there we go. Now we're working now. Alrighty, we're live. Where's the, hold on. Okay, we'll use that. How's it going, everybody? Welcome aboard. We're here. I'm trying to find a clap. Where's a clap? Let me get a clapping here. Let me see. Crowd, there we go. Yay! There's a. Thank you. There's a Mrs. Via now. Another Mrs. Via. Welcome aboard, everybody. Yeah, we got a lot to get through. Welcome aboard to the American Rail Club live stream lounge. It's good to see you all. It's been, wow, what a month. Married, beautiful honeymoon, beautiful marriage, beautiful, everything was beautiful. We can get through that. We can talk all about that. I don't know. We'll have plenty to talk about. I'm pretty sure we have a lot to catch up to and talk about. I have been keeping up on a little bit of news here and there. I'm not trying to inundate myself, especially when I try to disconnect from everything during the honeymoon, which was great to be down in Florida, Cape Coral. Never actually been there before, so it was nice to see that, and then take a night trip over to my home city of Miami, and particularly Miami Beach. It's nice to see. It was a very nice trip, and very nice to just to have just me and Catherine, just no worries, wonderful time, and beautiful to see all the family there at the marriage, and it's just wonderful. Everybody who did come out, just thank you all for coming and everything. It was a wonderful time. Honestly, there's no words can go ahead and really comprehend the beauty of everything, and just having family there. No drama, nothing at all. It was wonderful. The whole thing, beginning to end. So yeah, trip was good and everything. So I'm glad. Thank you everybody on the comments. Thank you everybody in the audience here in Discord. All right, you guys can hear me. Everything is good. Welcome, Osman Hussein, Adbuser, Gustavo, Brutus Tan the Third, David Mitchell, Darius, Star Force 97, Dump Trucker Adam everywhere, Minor Tree. Everybody is here. Welcome aboard. Well, I heard that somebody stole my idea of multiple hats. So I'm overtaking that. No, that's my idea. That's not whoever took that. That's mine. I am a man of many hats as well. Go on. Was this one over here? Yes. Make America's railroads great again. Oh, there's Milwaukee Road. And this week here in Railroad City, the crossroads of America, it is the Indy 500. This is May. Whatever happens this weekend, I wish Team Penske a very disappointing weekend. It's starting to look that way. I hope it does. It's ridiculous that one company can own not just the course, not just the series, and not just the winningest team. It's a little ridiculous. At some point, when does the monopoly breakers come in? Isn't that considered monopoly? You own the entire franchise. That's like saying, Mercedes-Benz owning the entirety of F1. But I mean, they did, and now they don't, and now they suck. Well, I mean, they're better than they were before. They've gotten rid of one terrible person, and now Ferrari. It's Ferrari's problem now. So too bad for Ferrari. But anyway, guys, all righty. Let's get started with this. Let's bring everybody on board over here. This is good. Happy Tuesday evening. Yes, Brian Rock, Rail fan. Yes, this is good. Here we are. Let's bring this out. Pop out. I know we have a lot of news, so I'm going to bring everybody on board. I'm going to leave it up to you. We can talk about a whole lot of things. Potential party boat accident in Brooklyn I'm hearing about, or something like that. That's what it looked like to me. That's what I thought the first time I saw that, but anyway, whatever you guys want to talk about. I mean, there's a whole lot of news going on. California seems to be going its own way. Here we are. Hey, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah, that was I thought that was going to go on longer than it was. Let me see. Let's bring that up. I mean, that's nothing in anywhere in the tri-state area. That's That's crazy. Alrighty, hold on, wait, pause a second there. I don't think the desktop volume is working. Just make sure. Okay, hold on, and there we are. Okay, Dump Trucker, there you go. I think you're live now.
There we go.
Alright, there
Did you hear everything I just said, or do I need to repeat it again?
Go ahead. Just start right over again. Everybody, thank you. It was a whole round of thank yous there, so thank you all.
I do have a shitty mic, so it's an Xbox 360 days mic.
No worries.
So, New Jersey transit drivers are only getting paid $17 an hour.
Yeah, that's crap.
And NJ Team spent $500 million on a new HQ and $53 million on decorating said HQ.
Oh, man.
What
but that's just
money.
chump change. That's just chump change.
Yeah, well,
and press conferences, they were like, "Oh, well, we don't want to make this at the cost of the taxpayers." Well, you just spent half your money, your damn money, on a new HQ. You could have done so much.
Yeah, it's really silly. And I have some local news, by the way, of some really weird use of money. But we'll leave that for a little bit later, unless you guys want to hear about it. But anyway, is there any? Who else is talking there? Is that David I hear? That is David. David, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Doing good, man, and welcome to Married Life, coming from one married man to another married man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. I'm enjoying it. This is nice. This is a nice change of pace. It's nice to have this responsibility.
Let's go about that movie.
I got some local news here, and it's finally a project that we finally got killed off. The I-526 extension, you know?
Oh boy, we have an article for that one.
I-5?
Yep, I sent it in the live chat.
Alrighty, let's see if we can find that.
Are they going to build a boulevard in place, or are they just gonna fix the intersection? Because usually
they were both to go on to Johnson James Island, but Dana, a lot of people here are pretty upset that it's not going to be built, but a lot of people are also happy. I agree with the people who are happy that it don't need to be built because, one, stop building so many damn roads. Am I right?
Well,
it can only get worse. It can only get worse, David. I'm telling you.
I know.
Lesser roads are needed. Well, in areas that are growing, you're going to kind of need more roads like that.
And here's the thing, and this makes a good segue to what I was going to talk about. The problem when it comes, and the problem when it comes to traffic, which by the way, there's some news going on that now the MTA is there's more increased ridership now at the subways because of congestion pricing. How much of that is true? I hope it is. I mean, if that's let's see.
I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. Manhattan did a good job.
One at a time.
All right, one at a time. Yeah, and I was kind of split on the congestion pricing. I said yes, it's a good thing to do that, but the problem is you're putting a carrot and a stick, and there's too much stick and not enough carrot to really bring people back into the subway. The other thing that I talked about in that was I said, well, there may be so many people coming into the subway that they'll be forced to go ahead and have up security, and it seems to be better because now it says here we are. Here's the or whatever screenshot of this. Subway crime plummets as ridership jumps significantly in 2025 in congestion pricing era. So that was posted back in February 4th. How that's going to hold up, let's see. But look, if it works, it works. At this point, the best way to get rid of traffic, and it always has been and always will be, is to get rid of cars. How we do that, that's a whole entirely different story. But even in sleepy here in Indiana, McCordsville, Indiana, a suburb of Indianapolis, it's becoming that way.
No, wait. Cars have their place. Cars will have
cars have their place, but if you want to decrease traffic, you decrease cars. It's as simple as that.
And they did a really good job.
Exactly.
Yeah. I look
Yeah.
at, and if you look at the price tag,
Come on, let everybody talk,
And, you know-
but let everybody.
Yeah.
And
So
you know
But-
that we've seen this happen in countries across Europe, like London, for example, and they're like doubling down on their policies. Like, I mean, they've had these in a lot of European cities, especially London and Paris, have had these in their congestion stuff in place for the last 20 or so years, and now you're seeing like the overall infrastructure, like not just with transit, but also like pedestrian and cycling infrastructure has greatly increased, and they're actively working to get more cars off the road over there. And not to mention, it's going to greatly drive down pollution as well.
yeah. I mean, it's
not fully, but
no. Yeah. There's going to be
the
yeah.
airborne pollution somewhat.
I was lucky to
Also,
be
I got them. I
was
also got them
lucky-
sad news. I got them sad news. North Star no longer exists. The commuter rail no longer.
Wait, what?
North Star
They got
finally has finished.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what happened to the equipment?
Amtrak and TexRail, or like the Texas, might be thinking about getting it.
Yeah.
Alright,
the
I've seen
Heartland flyer. Here we go. Let's put that article here.
There
Heartland
we go.
flyer into the
Y'all
line.
lease
Yeah.
Title. So technically, North Star is still going to own it, but they're going to lease it because they're going to keep the equipment when there's a need for commuter transit again.
Oh yeah, that for sure.
Yeah, Texas.
and
Honestly, at
Amtrak-
this point, it's getting worse than
Amtrak
California. They're
Yeah.
two sides of the same crappy coin. Honestly, Texas and California, just a whole lot of bad ideas, a whole lot of bad stuff happening, and that's it. It's kind of
You know what?
it's kind of silly.
Amtrak needs
must
to
be
get
big
equipment
company.
badly. Amtrak needs it badly, so they need equipment. So this will really help them out with. This will help them. Yeah.
Yeah, but no matter what,
we also got them super good news coming from Florida with Sunrail.
Yeah,
which
that I think
posted
we
the
talked
link to
about.
that.
Yeah, I think we talked about that the last time. The approval, or maybe the last time we were talking about that, they were talking about a study to go ahead for expanding the Sunshine Corridor. So now they have officially approved it. The Central Florida Commuter Rail Commission voted unanimously April 24 to advance a $6 million. I don't know why it has to be $6 million, but okay. They just love that $6 million number. 2-year project development and environment study for the corridor. So there we go. I mean, look, you could have given this to college students, and they would have done it for a fraction of the cost. Probably not even a $250,000. I mean, feed them, and they'll be fine. I mean, hey, when I was a college student, that's all you needed to do for me. Just feed me, and I'm good.
for college
question.
students,
How
all you
much-
have to do is feed them pizza and their drink of choice.
Yeah, we're set.
For the long
Oh,
weekend.
Pizza, Dr. Pepper, beer. Take some breaks. Well, back in my day, we were playing League of Legends. That was such a waste of time, but I mean, that was a good way to get yourself all ticked off. But yeah. There you go. That's that's one way to do it. But hey,
$6 million?
yeah,
How much does it cost to build a platform in the station?
probably less than that.
2 million.
Well, if you want
less than that.
Or a couple million.
so let's talk about some silly costs of money. So I mean, this is good. This is at least something that will hopefully, probably the study is just going to say what we know, and it's going to be in one sentence. Yes, expansion will be good for the area. There you go. That's six. I just saved you $6 million. There you go. $6 million saved.
What you do is you find a business student and some engineering students, and the engineering students, they have one job: design a perfect system out and run the cost estimates, and the business student will sit down and it's like, all right, this is how many people are going to use it, and they can break down all the numbers, and then all right, here is their senior project, and they just told you how to do it, and it only took 1 semester.
Yeah,
Hey,
I mean, it's just so much. It can be so much easier with just using the college. Look, for all the money we're spending in college, might as well use it.
Hey, you know what? Don't hire an architect. That will make the engineer's job a living nightmare.
Oh yes,
What?
yes. Oh, dear.
Architects and engineers just don't seem to get along.
Almost like engineers and mechanics.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That is so true.
Yeah, that's the same in
now-
any world, whether it's building, construction, automobiles, yeah, wherever that's going to be. It's just like you only get like a very rare time where there's an architect engineer that can just kind of do all of that, but that's a very rare instance. I mean, like somebody like a Bruno Sacco or something like that who used to work at BMW, where like things did work, or anything like in the 80s and 90s, like engineers and architects just seem to have everything right at that point. But yeah, we're not at that confluence anymore.
What is this local news we're hearing about?
Okay, so local news in my area. So we're spending. So let's keep a track of the numbers over here. So $6 million is being spent on a study for the Sunshine Corridor. Now, here's my neck of the woods of McCordsville, Indiana. As you can see over here, there's a street called South Railroad Street. CSX runs a rail line through here. There's South Railroad Street. There's North Railroad Street. This was a very railroad centric part of town. In fact, there's a coffee place over here called Coffee at the Crossing that has, look at this. There you go. SCL LNN, the Georgia Clinchfield West Point route. Look at that. There you go. It's got a caboose that you can go ahead and sit and have coffee. So railroad town. However,
that nice.
yeah, it's cute. It's cool. This crossing over here, this 600 West and the CSX crossing, okay, this goes on a corridor where there's a whole bunch of now, unfortunately, a whole bunch of warehouses, whether it's Walmart, Amazon, whatever, all confluent over here. Amazon warehouse, a Walmart return center. There's a whole bunch of stuff over here. Another Amazon, whatever, a whole bunch of logistics, L3 centers, whatever, third-party logistics, all centered around here. So there's been a ton of trucks coming back on here. So what has been the solution now that they're planning up? An underpass. Now, an underpass would be a great idea because the trains were there before the roads. That's just as simple as that. In any part of the United States, most parts of the United States outside of the Northeast and any part that was, back before the railroads, most of America, the roads predate the road. The railroads predate the roads. That's just as simple as that.
Oh, I know.
But here we go. So they want to spend. Overall, the projected cost of this project is $81,596,085 for an underpass. An underpass is going to cost $80 million, and they say it's going to take 38 months to do this.
So I think it's going to take 38 months to do it.
It's small town Indiana.
WTF?
Demetrius, pull up that video of the Dutch doing it over.
I was just about to do that. I was just about to do that.
Pull it up.
Hold on. Here we go.
I work construction. There's one thing you need to take into account for.
Yeah.
Rain and the time it's going to take to get rid of all the dirt they have to get rid of. It's
Yeah,
not,
$81 million.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
$81 million, all they're going to do is what they're going to spend. Now, most of that, if not all of that, is going to be for the construction company. And a lot of that is a waste. It's going to get wasted on fancy looks that no one's ever going to give a shit about.
Yeah, it's here we go. Here's the here we go. Netherlands builds highway tunnel in just 48 hours. There you go.
So the Netherlands tunnel, they got that ready well beforehand. Like they had the dirt, the path already made.
Yeah.
They had the trucks ready. They had the concrete ready. They had all the equipment and crews ready. In America, we don't have that kind of organization.
No, it's not.
Go through, find a random foreman that's available and say,
Yeah, you know what's the sad thing is that it's not that we don't have the organizations, that they don't want to. This is done on purpose. We've said this all the time. This is on purpose at this point.
I'm curious how they're going to even fit an overpass. I'm genuinely curious. We can tear down businesses and homes.
No, well, there's no homes or business. Well, the only business in that area is a Family Express and a Culver's that they just opened. So they're saying that it's not going to disrupt whatever business there. Speaking of things that take forever, another viaduct has been constructed in California.
Oh, we got another.
Another viaduct, guys. Another viaduct. Hooray! Let me see. Where's my? Here we go. Another viaduct.
Another one. Hey. How many have they completed out of all the
I don't know. At this point,
build?
what does it matter if it says May 2025 over here or May 2077? At this point, it doesn't flip and matter anymore.
Agreed.
We can just put the. Hold on, wait a second. Where's the? We need the cyberpunk music. Hold on, so we can just put that. It's the year 2077.
Dude,
Oh,
if they were to build that somewhere, if they were to build that in another state, it would have been done by now.
Hey,
Yeah.
Demetrius, do you know what 10 days ago?
What was 10 days ago?
National Train Day.
Oh yes, I missed
National
National Train Day. I know. You know, I was having a honeymoon. That's a once in a lifetime thing. So I'm not. National Train Day will come next year.
On National Train Day.
You can put it on hold.
Oh yeah.
They want me to put the honeymoon on hold back in time. I don't know how that's going to happen, but how do we do the logistics of that? But anyway, all right.
I don't know. I got.
Also, speaking of Demetrius, did you get that's up on that dumbass that I let you know about who was trying to get that bill signed that would have screwed over rail in Texas?
Which one? There's a whole lot of dumbasses all around. Which one over here?
Which one?
All right. I sent the link to a dude that have connection with oil and automotive and the airline in the group chat.
I mean, that just seems to be all of Texas, no matter what happens or anything. Yeah, just put it up in the. This one. Okay, yeah, match. Yes, okay, I remember this. Yes, been investigating this particular politician. Okay, so. We used to do this before, if you guys remember this whole thing that we did with Open Secrets and a whole bunch of other stuff. Just figuring out, following the money. Now, that's just a part of it because what we see, the money that we do see, is only a small portion of what really goes around in the political sphere. So what David's got over here is Matt Shaheen. Of the Texas House of Republican. And again, at this point, it doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat, they all just suck anyway. But here we are, Industries 2019. Here we go, electronics, manufacturing, and equipment. This is what money they got donated to them. Top 20 industries to campaign committee. Let me see, $187,000. What sort of electronics, manufacturing, equipment? I don't know. It doesn't really say, and I can't really expand that, so whatever. But here we go, automotive, defense, electronics, tobacco, air transport. I mean, look, and what you're going to see in a lot of this is going to be the same sort of people over and over again, oil and gas. But I mean, like, yeah, look, what's the whole joke that goes again that, if we had politicians dressed up as like NASCAR sponsorships, they just have like a whole bunch of either military industrial complex or a whole bunch of different tech companies, or they're just going to be plastered with a whole bunch of stickers of a whole bunch of different companies.
And I do have. I got some local news on to share as well.
Yeah. Again, I'm not surprised at this, David, but yeah, go ahead. Your piece, and then we'll move on.
Because here at James.
Oh. Sorry, go ahead, my friend.
One at a time.
This saying, like, he was one of the people that signed a bill that were trying to sign a bill in that would have screwed over, and I just sent the article talking about this bill in the live chat too. This is the bill he was a part of.
Here we go. Build a slash. Here we go. Yep. Okay. And let's bring that up over here. Okay, build a slash Dallas-Fort Worth transit funding advances in Texas House. Again, not surprised. A bill advancing to the Texas legislature threatens to dismantle the public transportation system in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, Dallas Area Rapid Transit, or DART. The bill isn't a tweak to funding, it's a full-on dismantling of the DART system, said DART's Chief Communications Officer, Gianni Molina. The people of North Texas voted twice to fund a unified regional transit system. Go. Hey, big news. Politicians don't listen to their constituents. Wow. Who would have known that?
Thing is, that's been like that for a long time.
Oh, wait, what? Anyway, House Bill 3187 completely ignores their voice and puts the future of public transportation in jeopardy. Yeah, like I'm saying, California and Texas, two states I really don't want to touch at this point. I'm sorry. I'm either staying here in Indiana. I'm going back to Florida. Florida seems to have which is funny. Of all the states, the Florida man state seems to have a grip on a little bit more of a grip on reality and what makes sensible legislation and sensible projects. And Texas and California, the two states that should be leading the country, just can't figure out. One can't figure out how to build a railroad, or just doesn't want to build a railroad. Another one just wants to have a mega city expanding across the entire region. It's going to look like Judge Dredd at this rate.
And funny thing is, and I want to bring up one of the people, and we got done talking about him. Well, one who made that bill.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. Look at how many. Look at how spread out Dallas is. I mean, look at that. Yeah, you have 1, 2, 3. Look at this. Three. It's like a growing tree here of suburbia that just expands out. By 5 generations. Yeah, it's going to swallow up Waco. And then it's going to meet up with Austin and Houston and San Antonio over here, and it's just going to turn into a complete me region. Let me see.
It's literally going to be another loss. It's going to be a loss of Texas.
Dallas large enough. Dallas is pretty large.
Like, and people realize this, but reason why I'm saying that, and here, Gene, like, what happened in New York about a month ago with that helicopter crash and everything? Our transit system is under attack. Like, our rail and transit system is under attack from automotive, big oil, and the airlines. Because right now, they're not doing so good.
And another thing, Yari, my cousin who barely attended the wedding, almost missed it because of that air traffic in New Jersey.
Oh man, yeah, the whole air traffic control debacle in New Jersey. Yeah, that was a disaster.
Is that for Newark Airport?
Yeah, the Newark Airport one. Yeah.
Yeah,
she almost missed coming to the wedding because of that.
Yeah, and it seemed like that helicopter crash about a month ago, when I first pointed out that it was no accident, they're trying to cover it up. They are literally trying to.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
They always do. They're always going to try and cover their footsteps with either dust or sand.
Yeah,
make it look like they never did anything.
Yeah, this is going to be Texas in the coming years. By the end of the century, it's going to be just one giant mega region. It's it's not good. I mean, look at this. It's just. I mean, at this point, Fort Worth, Arlington, and Dallas are already just one area that they just call it the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's not even one or the other anymore.
Yeah, but
it's just gonna be another LA Anaheim situation.
Yeah,
but that picture's wrong. There's not people that are having horses in their backyards in city limits.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like Texas is kind of like they've lost their identity too. I mean, that's why I kind of keep making the joke that Oklahoma is more Texas than Texas, and it's true. I mean, every time
I've been to Oklahoma, it's more Texas than Oklahoma.
Anyway, but yeah, okay. Who's talking now? Who's talking now? Okay,
it was me because.
I also got some good news, like the training on the new Avail Liberty, because I got done talking to one of my friends who work for Amtrak. The training on the new Avail Liberty is only a few days away. Like they're about done with the training.
Alrighty. Okay. So that's what date is that again?
The training,
the air traffic controller.
Okay, guys, one at a time. All right, we're on the Avalia now. We're on the Avalia, so let's stick to Avalia.
And can we eventually get to mine?
Yes, absolutely. All right, so David, finish up on the Avalia.
like they're already video showing the Avail Liberty, them already running them, like training the conductors and engineer on them. So they're ready. They are ready.
Yep.
The
They
video,
had two
they're
test
already
runs today. They had 2 test runs today. I assume driver training, and they're getting near the finale of, okay, eventually we're going to test you on driving this by yourself. Someone will be there, but they're not going to be in the cab.
Oh yeah, and it finally happened. And plus, the Down Eastern, it's more good news. The Down Eastern is possibly getting an expansion to Brunswick, Maine.
That would be that's great.
I think I heard something
We
similar
are
about that.
talking about you. We were just talking about the Avelia, though.
I know, but we did all good news for Amtrak. Like Amtrak, even though it's been a rough year a little bit, there's still good stuff happening to them.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, probably the worst thing
I
that
wanna-
happened to them
I
was
wanna
losing
share
Stephen
some-
Gardner, but I mean, it could be that he did try to at least get the Amtrak on good grounds, and it was kind of he was kind of sacrificing himself for the better of Amtrak, and to try to get into good graces of the Trump administration. Let's see how that works. Again, this will be good to see the not only to see them trying to go ahead and revamp the Penn Station and that whole entire area, so having them lead it instead of MTA, which honestly, I mean, any day of the week, I'd rather trust Amtrak than the MTA. That's without a doubt. But
Yes, so
finally,
true.
finally seeing this happen. I mean, yeah, well, it has been nearly a decade of planning and design delays. Shoot, I mean, I remember when we had a whole stream on this when they first announced it. I mean, it's just crazy. So we will have that's for sure. We will have a stream the day that this actually comes into fruition and actually opens up. We will be having a stream. That is for sure, and we'll be finally celebrating that America has a more modern high-speed rail system after. Come on, Brightline still did it first, but I mean, yes, the Alstom Avelia Liberty is much more capable of higher speed, but it's limited to the tracks, the old tracks in the Northeast Corridor. But hey, you know what? It's good. Either way, it's good.
Will be changed.
Yeah,
Now,
design travel up to
moving-
186 miles an hour. Yeah, so we're getting there.
So now, moving on from the moving
to
on.
come in.
All righty. Okay, so next, let's see what's next on the who's coming in. Okay, Brightline fan. There we go. Wow, full house here.
As he comes on, I'm gonna talk about
Yeah,
mine because I can't keep it.
What's
I
up,
can't
man?
Keep it in this long. So
Dentrek,
I'm gonna jump. Hang on. We're gonna jump from the East Coast to Central America in my region. There was a study about connecting my town of Grimes to Des Moines with a commuter rail line.
You have an article
would
for
be
that or
nice.
something that we can put up for everybody?
Just about the Dallas one, something you can read.
Okay.
Trucker.
I wouldn't call it a whole article, but there was a study. I
There we
think
are.
it was more of a private, independent study.
All right. So here we are. We're in Iowa here, guys. Looking at what's going on over in Iowa.
So they want a commuter line, which would be great. The line needs upgrading, but besides that, it's not too bad. And they also would need to bring it back to life because almost half of it is just abandoned.
Let's see.
So
System
the only thing I could
definition.
find-
Following extracted from Des Moines. Respond to 2001 to 2006 reconstruction of I-235. Low cost, plain vanilla commuter rail system. That's an interesting choice of words. Plain vanilla commuter rail system. Be operational by 2003. I guess this was back when they first started the definition. Okay, here we are. Potential commuter rail corridors. The Iowa Interstate Railroad, Norfolk Southern. So they're looking at what's already existing and what tracks to use for this. Okay.
it's not bad.
Yeah.
But the one that, and before you say, and before you say, oh, let's convert to light rail, the line has 2 customers left on it. Only 2 customers left. And it could be slayed for abandonment because it's owned by Norfolk Southern, leased to the Iowa Interstate. And if Iowa Interstate doesn't want to continue the lease, Norfolk Southern might just abandon the line.
Yeah, that's probably could be an option. Like I've said, it's going to be better when states are going to be working on their own projects rather than having the federal government lead anything, because it's either way, no matter who's in charge at this point, it's going to be more
about it.
incumbent on the states to say, hey, we're going to take charge of this. Whether you have the wackiness over in California where they're never going to build anything, or whatever's going on in Texas, look, that just gives people more of a chance and say, hey, you know what, I don't like what the hell they're doing over here. Florida's full, so please, unless you're born and raised in Florida or married to somebody who is a Floridian, don't come to Florida. We're full. Or Indiana. Indiana's also full too.
Texas got very much housing.
I have a quick question. What about tourists?
What about
tourists still down in Florida?
Or what?
Tourists. People
Tourists?
to come and just visit.
If they leave. You have to leave.
Okay, what about the snowbirds? What about snowbirds? Because we do have people who really hate the snow.
Pick one. Pick one. You gotta pick one. Don't just come and then leave. No, pick one. Pick one. Okay, it's just. They're gonna pick Florida. Okay, fine. Just stay. Just stay.
Unless you have a second vacation home.
The population in the southern states goes up by a few thousand people because they hate the winter, but they love the state. But they hate the winter.
Look, I get it. And I have family who do that now. But it's like, it's look, and I have a thing with that. It's just that it's not particularly fair for the people who actually are born and raised there, because it does boost up not to a good extent, the housing prices there, which are already extremely exorbitant, but they are going to start to come down either way. Look, I honestly believe that at this point, it's already changing. The paradigm for what housing is in the United States is changing, that it's becoming now less and less of an investment vehicle. The time that you can go ahead, buy a house, and think that, it's just going to go up forever because green line go up. No, that's ending. To the point that I think housing is going to start to change here in the United States, where probably starter housing is going to be rebuilt again at some point. Or houses that have been built now are going to be repurposed to either be multifamily homes or something else. It's going to change.
You're going to laugh. I had to do a second part of my live stream. The first part cut off.
Oh man.
Hey, if anyone wants to go to Florida, maybe do tours here.
It took me a minute. But
while we
were talking, it cut off, and I do not know why it did that. But it's back up and running now.
Yeah.
I had to start the second part, though, 2-part live stream.
Yeah, but here's something, and I know we talk a lot about because housing and city building, town planning, all that sort of stuff in general. That's all tied together with infrastructure. And that's the thing, it's not just about a train, but it starts with a train and it kind of ends with that as well, because a lot of these cities have been built because of the railroads here in the United States and grew around the railroads. And then we just seen the evolving into cities. But post-war, we started to see, first, it was a massive influx of starter homes because a lot of the GIs coming home, and I've stayed in those homes before. Very simple, and they're still very good homes. 2-bedroom, 1 bath, kitchen, living room, maybe a garage, maybe a basement, depending on where you are. Most likely a basement, but good homes. Good way to start a family. And if you don't tell, code enforcement, you can put some more people in the basement. So why not?
Now, I will be honest. They need to make houses better. Today, they're just really cheap and they're slab homes.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, here's another thing about homes. Hold on a second. Well, there was a couple things that I saved. Funny enough, since we talked about this, here's a Spanish town that banned been car free for 19 years. Funny enough.
I know there's an island in Michigan that banned cars.
Yeah.
Mackinac Island.
That's one
the
example.
tourist attraction now, but it's
You're
like
talking about Isle Royale? You're talking about Isle Royale?
Mackinac Island. You talking about Fire Island?
yeah.
Yeah, Mackinac
I
Island. Yeah,
definitely
no, Mackinac was it Mackinac? Mackinac.
Mackinac
And the
Island.
only, in
Yeah,
fact, the
Mackinac
only time
Island.
that they actually allow cars on that island is when they gotta was when they gotta do maintenance, when they gotta do their required services to the island, which was rare. That's the only time apparently they allow trash trucks on that island is when
Oh yeah.
there are
For
no
sure.
tourists on. Is when they're just doing services.
All right, here we are, Mackinac Island. Let me go ahead and bring it up for those of you who are listening in or watching and have absolutely no clue what we're talking about. So there is,
People ride horses like the old days,
yeah,
or they walk, or they bike.
yeah.
It's
So
a
there is
great
on
way if
the,
you, I guarantee you, if New York, if Manhattan Island, Manhattan Island, or at least the downtown area, the southern part of Manhattan, were to ban the use of cars, it would literally make that the cleanest island in the entire world.
I don't know why.
I don't think probably the cleanest in the entire world, but possibly.
No,
I mean,
you're
look,
right,
a lot,
you're right.
a
Probably
lot
not the
cleaner than it was before. But here you go, guys. So Mackinac Island, it's right at the tip of the top of Michigan over here at the Lower Peninsula. But yeah, it's a historic site, and there are no cars allowed on the island. And it's a nice place to go ahead and visit. I've always wanted to visit it. Visit there.
Sail.
It's on my,
Yeah.
it's on my bucket list.
I
Yeah,
went
you
near
can-
the island.
Yeah, it is a pretty cool place from what I hear. So yeah,
Sail.
It's
Yeah.
possible.
People
Bikeable
bike, people walk, people bike, everything without cars.
Oh yeah, that for sure. Also, I think
Well,
it's
isn't
up
it just
to
a
let
little vacation?
Michael speak because
What about during the winter with winter residents?
So during the
It's
winter,
true.
well, actually, I think that's the time when they really do a lot of servicing on the island.
enjoy the
Is
snow.
when there's no, yeah, they do all the service. That's when probably they do the servicing on the island. That's how they probably operate.
Also, I think it's time for us to give Brightline his turn because he is waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, he has been waiting. Bright line.
yeah. Brightline, go ahead.
All right. It's been finally. Okay, anyways. Okay, I was getting a lot of news articles about East Palestine. Norfolk Southern hasn't resolved the situation going on in East Palestine. They haven't paid
And it's been 2
millions of
years.
dollars in damages yet.
Oh man.
You know, hey, what's that? What's the sound where everyone slaps their hand on their face?
It's been 2 freaking years.
Yeah, and
And
that's,
the news- and
I'm
the
not-
news
I'm not
articles are
surprised.
covering-
and I'm not surprised at this administration. I didn't think they were going to do anything. I mean, let's put it this way: they paid a lot of lip service to what happened in East Palestine. They particularly picked a vice president from Ohio. Some of it was that decision was based on catering to Ohioans and what happened in East Palestine. Nothing has really moved with that forward. Or no, let's put it this way: there's been no real justice for the people of East Palestine.
No.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there won't be justice for probably never.
Now,
That city is,
Really,
the air is forever doomed in that town. And
oh, the
everywhere
air, the
around it,
water,
yeah.
the dirt. Yeah, I mean, you've completely you've destroyed
The dirt,
you destroyed the
yeah.
whole town, and now you're not even helping the residents who either want to get out or anything.
I mean,
But-
if the
Right.
Republicans aren't caring about East Palestine, then that just goes to show the state of our politicians not caring about the people.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
the
So
point
I,
is that
regardless of
once you
what's
become a
happening on.
politician like JD Vance is now, you care less about small situations like that and more about the bigger situations that are going on.
yeah, because
I
it
don't-
says
I
a
don't
lot.
mean to call that small, but that's just a small town.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
been we've been covering this East Palestine situation for over 2 years now. And I've been covering all those articles about the East Palestine situation 1,000 times in David Mitchell's live streams. You can ask David Mitchell about that.
Yeah, we're not going to let it go about the East Palestine. Now, apparently, a jury. The last time we visited this, Norfolk Southern was trying to shift blame on both the chemical company and the equipment company of the railroad car. I believe one or the other is either the chemical company is paying damages or the rail car company is paying damages or has been also fleeced in here to pay damages. Which, look, all of this is 100% Norfolk Southern's fault. It's not the chemical maker's fault. It's not the equipment maker's fault of the car, because Norfolk Southern knew, and because of precision scheduled railroading, they deferred any sort of needed repairs on the equipment. It was burning. The brakes were on fire for nearly 20 miles. The driver of the train called multiple times and said, "Hey, we need to stop," and they told him, "No, keep going." And brakes failed. Boom. This is what happens. This is 100% Norfolk Southern's fault of how they handle their business and what their leadership wanted.
If I was a driver, I would have just stopped and said, "You can come do it yourself."
Yeah, and I you know what? That's the problem, is that because in today's economy that so many people are so dependent on, and it's really hard to find a job right now. It's not like you could just quit, leave, walk out, and go find something else. I mean, but it's just sad. It's a sad situation all around.
Sorry.
Yeah. Here we are. Okay, hold on. Norfolk Southern lost a similar lawsuit last year when it tried to force GATX and oxyvinyls, which made the vinyl chloride, to help pay for the environmental cleanup after the derailment has cost the Atlanta-based railroad more than $1 billion, and they should be paying more. And it made similar arguments on this. Yeah, it's trying to pass the blame. They're trying to pass the blame, pass the buck, and that says a lot about Norfolk Southern and their leadership. That's really scummy and that's sick.
Norfolk Southern needs to get new leadership.
Dimitri, I just sent a meme that would reference Norfolk Southern in a funny way.
They're the butt of all jokes.
Oh man.
We don't need rails.
They're the butt of Norfolk Southern is the butt of all jokes.
Literally, they're one of the largest systems on the East Coast. And they're just the butt of the joke on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
hey, everyone.
Hey.
All
Alrighty. So hold on, real quick, because Adam Everywhere posted this over here. Salary you need to afford, because we were talking about housing prices
Congratulations,
before.
Demetrius.
Oh, thank you, man. No, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, congrats, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Welcome to married life.
I'm enjoying it.
Not time from state to state.
Yep. Okay, so all right, give me a chance here. Okay, so salary you need to afford the average home in your state based on a 30-year mortgage with a 10% down payment. Okay, and it's honestly, these numbers get worse when you understand and realize that a lot of people in our age group also are tacked on with student loan debt, which is never going to get solved. I'm not going to get into that because I was talking about that a couple days ago with a friend of mine. They don't want to solve it, and it's never going to get solved because they don't want to, and it's going to upend the entire economy because there's nearly $2 trillion of principal that of our money that not only we pay taxes for to the school systems, not only are the schools benefiting from the inflated prices of that was pushed on by these, they're very much predatory loans when you really look at the definition of predatory loans. But imagine $2 trillion that are tied up in a whole bunch of endowments and a whole bunch of pensions. And if those $2 trillion disappear, the entire economy and all those federal workers and state workers that have all those pensions of the money that we spent, by the way, is going to collapse the entire economy. Oh, man. But anyway.
Well, there's an easy way to solve the overpriced issue, but then a lot of the colleges and universities would start going out of businesses because they couldn't afford to maintain the luxuries that they've added on, including their unprofitable degrees that they offer.
Yeah. But anyway, okay, so here we go. Back to this. Average salary you need to afford the average home in your state based on a 30-year mortgage with a 10% down payment. Yeah, and then you can see California's $120,000. There's just no way you're going to be able to find a job for that. And even then, I mean, people who are making this much aren't even able to afford a home. And that's the average home in the state is. Right. It depends because the average home in, let's say, a place like Florida is 10 times the average salary. Or the median salary in that state. It's very inflated. $70,000 in Florida. And this is why a lot of people are moving to the Midwest is because it's cheaper over here. Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky,
Pennsylvania.
Every house that goes up,
like you said, Florida's full.
is sold. Maybe within a few weeks of the house going up, it's sold to somebody. People are moving to the Midwest. It's cheaper. It's a lot better to good morals all around them, good people all around them, less places with the hood in their neighborhood.
Yeah, and I will say this because I kind of want to revisit the whole snowbird argument because I know somebody somewhere is going to say something about it. The whole thing. And when I visited Cape Coral, went down to Fort Myers, and we went and visited because these are probably like two of my favorite Americans, Thomas Edison and Henry Ford. Both had their winter estates right next to each other in Fort Myers. But there's a difference because what's the grand irony about Florida is that it was basically built. Modern Florida was built by snowbirds. Funny enough. Okay, so as much as I talk about modern snowbirds and snowbirds back then, because Henry Flagler, that whole entire section, all the way from St. Augustine, all the way down to Key West, Flagler was born in Ohio. Made a lot of his money in New York. He was basically the brains behind Standard Oil. Retired into Florida. Said, you know what? I want to make this place better, and basically built the entire east coast of Florida. Henry Ford, Thomas Edison. These guys made their fortunes. But not only that, Thomas Edison was still working in Florida. In fact, he had an entire laboratory there, a chemical laboratory there, and he was working on different rubber compounds, using different rubber trees and trying to figure out some ways to domesticate rubber production of trees within the United States. Now, that all basically upended itself when they figured out synthetic oil, but they were trying a whole bunch of ginkgo trees, a whole bunch of different ficus trees, and a whole bunch of other stuff. It's just incredible what they tried to do. But this was the difference between a lot of the again, and I've said this before, the character of Americans back then and what they tried to build was far more patriotic and far better for the country than the parasites we have now that are just basically they don't really care for the average American. They don't care for what the country is going to become or the soul or morale of the country. That there's a major problem with that.
Those are not parasites, Demetrius. Those are leeches.
Same thing. Leeches, parasite. Yeah, they are. Well, anyway, you were all saying the same thing over here,
Yeah, but when it comes to snowbirds, you can just be like me, who watches the snow from his computer screen, enjoying the warmer weather.
Speaking of that,
that's one way to do it.
Out everywhere. I seen your post on Maine. You want to talk about this?
Sure. It basically happened a couple of days ago when I was reading an article about that, saying they're going to expand all the way up to Bangor. I think that probably makes sense that tourists is going to Acadia National Park because Bangor is the closest city there, so it probably makes sense. Plus, it has an airport there.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are. Let me bring that up. Okay, so here we go. Just so everybody can see what we're talking about. Maine's rail infrastructure is once again under threat of removal and needs the public's help. Here we are. Remove the most efficient. Does it make sense to remove the most efficient transportation mode for moving people and freight? Restrict local economies by eliminating a cheap way of moving goods and reducing heritage and leisure tourism. Tell local railroad companies with legitimate interest in these lines that their interests do not matter. Pit railroad advocates and trail advocates against one another where both can thrive. Absolutely not. Yeah. And this is the problem is that a lot of these the thing is that trail advocates or people who want to change rails to trails most of the time it's like they just don't really care, and that's unfortunate. It's sad. And you can have a railroad and a trail next to a railroad, or go ahead and take your bike somewhere else to a park.
The thing is that rails, it depends on the line. Rails and trails. Does this rail or does this trail line go out in the middle of nowhere, or does it go in a city? If it goes out in the middle of nowhere, it's a trail. If it goes out
Oh yeah, that's
in a city, make it keep it. Make it useful, depending on, of course, where it's at in the city.
Yeah.
Here's an
Also-
I have
the
something
red
to
line for
say.
the CSX line. The
Yeah.
CSX
Also,
line
I
follows
just
the
found
line.
out that the same people who are trying to abandon rail lines up in Maine got connection to big automotive and big trucking in the area. So,
Oh, man.
but
Well,
they,
depends,
yes.
so they got that
What?
connection.
I haven't
Are
said
you sure? Are
anything
you sure it involves trucking? Because truckers rely
yeah.
on the railroad. Truckers rely a lot on the railroad.
yet. They do.
They do. He's got a logistics center.
Yeah,
They
you
do
got-
I
have a
haven't said
sort of-
anything really yet.
You got
Yeah, look at where are the
I
ports,
don't know.
where are the
I
terminals,
don't know if
where are the
Demetrius
companies,
knows
and
about.
where's the closest destination they could get from the rail lines.
hmm But it
Sorry.
did crazy when
It's
you
a
did think about it
trucking.
because some of the stuff that are happening don't add up, you know? Because here at Zane, because I actually have seen stuff like this happen before where trucking companies think that, oh, we can do great without the railroads, and next thing you know, face flat. I think same thing is happening up in Maine, you know? But it was the first
The
time.
trucking industry.
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah, it's part, but it's pictured the
And
whole
some of them
industry.
are independent truckers.
Yes,
Yeah,
a majority of them are independent.
but
A lot will depend. Some of them are independent. Some of them, a lot of the new guys
Right.
start out with a company, and a lot of them also work for a company because it is easier for the company to manage their finances than for them to manage their finances.
I'd like to say something about the Avelias.
All right.
All right, we're jumping back and forth. Okay, wait. We're gonna. Well, the Avelia is gonna come out soon, so we're gonna have a whole stream on that. But yeah, Renell, we did talk about the Avelias. Let's move on to another topic. Who was talking before?
I just wanted to talk about something.
Yeah,
There's
logistics.
I have two new articles.
Okay.
One that both have something to do with Texas. One is about the Texas Central. Federal grant cancellation fails to derail Texas
Texas
high-speed
Central
rail.
Railway.
Yeah, I think we talked about that before.
Yeah, and another one is bill
Mhm.
to slash Dallas-Fort Worth transit funding advances in Texas House of Representatives.
All right. Is this on the live stream chat here, or is this on the general chat?
It's in the politics chat.
Okay, politics chat. Let me go ahead and look for that and bring that over.
It was.
Yeah,
It was
we
about
had one
firm
of them
bought
pulled up.
Texas Central.
All right, here you
I
are.
wanted to talk about this. There is a politician that I actually nailed it down that there's the sponsor of this bill is a guy that has deep connections with the automobile and airline industry.
Yeah, David, weren't you talking about this guy before?
Yeah.
I was.
Or is
we
this a different one?
mentioned This,
They
we were talking about this last time.
Right. That's what I'm saying. This looks familiar, and I know we talked about
Last
this.
time.
Yeah,
It was from the
familiar.
last stream.
yeah, this was from the last stream.
Simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said before, I don't really see much happening when it comes to Texas Central. I don't think it's going to be happening. Texas is really doing everything it can to shoot itself in the foot multiple times, in every sort of way they can.
Let Texas do what Texas does.
It's unfortunate and it's sad for the people of Texas, which I'm pretty sure if you actually do an actual real poll of people in Texas, whether they're Republican, Democrat, whichever side of the aisle they are, they most likely would be in favor of high-speed rail. And we've done these sorts of studies before. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle, you're generally going to see an 80 to 90% support for high-speed rail across the board. That's just it's heavily supported.
They've done
my man.
They've
Well,
done a
that's-
survey like that, and they found there people under 50 are in vast support of it, and if you're like over 65, you're heavily against it.
Yeah,
And
that's really what it
Mainly
is.
Because,
Because if
mainly
you're
because
it's really
those who are
simple.
over 65 were old enough to remember a time when the railroads were in their decline due to just mass mismanagement,
Yeah.
overtaxation, overregulation, and then they basically got consolidated into
Yeah.
either the
You're-
big four freight
And
lines or
honestly,
into Amtrak.
Yeah.
Your only hope of getting Texas high-speed
Oh, yeah.
rail is probably through another startup company, or it would not surprise me if Brightline tries to tap into that market as well.
We're only fine with that. Brightline's been successful. They're doing California they're doing LA to thinking Las Vegas right now, and it'll be finished before California high-speed rail is done.
They
Yeah.
they could do it from Dallas to Houston.
I think
Yeah.
they probably
They can.
will.
I would probably
Yeah,
do
yeah.
San Antonio. Not San Antonio. I'd probably do Austin first. Austin to Houston, or
Austin, San
yeah.
Antonio.
Austin to
Austin to
Dallas.
Houston is
Dallas to
slightly
Houston.
shorter, but Austin has a
It's not much.
much lower population than Dallas, Fort Worth.
Yeah,
It
it's
is,
more
but once you
concentrated.
look
Just
Yeah.
think about it though.
No,
Once
I
you look
think
at
they
the
gotta
numbers,
do
it's
Dallas.
like 100. It's 170 to 180 miles from Houston to Dallas, but you're going from about 10 million people over to about 2 to 3 million people in the Austin area versus about 9.5, 10 million up in Dallas Fort Worth.
So here's what I think they should do if they do Texas is they should do Dallas Fort Worth with San Antonio. Connect that heavy region of travel together.
Yeah, most
yeah,
down I-35
Amtrak already
is
has. Amtrak already has. Not to mention, Amtrak already has service between San Antonio and the Fort Worth, Dallas through Austin too.
Aren't they getting rid of that too,
Oh,
or they're looking to get rid of that?
train only runs once a day.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah,
That
but
nobody's
the
gonna take
Sunset
that.
Limited?
You got like how long it takes to ride from Dallas all the way to San Antonio.
Yeah, that train was about 8 to 9 hours, where
Mhm.
you can drive it without traffic in under 6.
Yeah, that's and then that's the problem with most of Amtrak routes outside of the Northeast Corridor. It's and we talked about this when it comes from, let's say, Indianapolis to Chicago. That's something that should be taking
Like once a
only an
day
hour or
at,
two.
like 2 in the morning.
Yeah, and then the problem is that, well, you only have the Cardinal now because the Hoosier is gone. You only have the Cardinal leaving, at 2 o'clock in the morning or 6 a.m. in the morning, or you can take the bus, which is funny enough faster than Amtrak, which makes it makes sense when you know why, but it doesn't make any
Cardinal-
logical sense that a bus is faster than the train.
The Cardinal for
Oh, I
years
know,
and
and-
still kind of is one of Amtrak's more secret trains.
Yeah.
You don't really know about it. And why at 2 in the morning? I gotta know.
No,
Whose
it's
idea is to start a train at 2 in the morning and go to Chicago, or go, what is it, New York?
yeah. I think it's the Cardinal. Yeah, it goes from New York all the way to Chicago.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
New York,
London.
DC, it
Unlimited.
goes through,
Out of that.
and then
Charleston-
Ohio,
Charleston-
Indianapolis,
Wait,
Chicago.
at this point,
I'm sorry,
I'm
Louisville
sorry,
up to
I
Chicago.
think- I'm gonna say something controversial. I think they should slash the line in half. Slash it in half, run it
Guys.
down does it go to Columbus, right?
I know it
I
goes
kept-
Cincinnati.
I remember what happened to, guys, I remember what happened to the Hoosier State, because I remember the money that was supposed to go to the Hoosier State, that went to an airline flight from Ohio to Paris. Am I right?
Now Indianapolis to Paris, yeah.
Numbers. Yeah.
Direct flight between. I think it was
Yeah.
a Delta. Yeah, Delta between Indianapolis to Paris. Which who's going to be able to afford that now? But anyway, yeah,
Who rides
it's
that?
No.
yeah, we got robbed. It's
Yeah,
obvious.
I have a good question. Who rides that plane?
Nobody that I
Anyone
know.
want to
Yeah,
go to Paris
I'm
anymore?
I don't think anybody.
Who's in Paris?
But the people who allowed that to happen should have went to jail. You know, they should have went to jail. Should have been, Said you are
Sadly,
destroying
they did not technically break
Yeah,
any laws.
it's not gonna happen. I mean, what's the crazy thing that from Chicago to Milwaukee, you have the Hiawatha, and that runs like 9 times a day. And that's outside of Northeast Corridor. I think that's the only one, or one of the only two in the Midwest that actually make a profit. Yeah, and it goes pretty fast. It's like a 90 mile an hour top speed for which, yeah, compared to the rest of the United States, it's pretty fast. Chicago, Milwaukee, I think within an hour or so. So yeah, I mean, it's look, it happened, and they made a new. I'll try to see it whenever I have a chance to go to Milwaukee again.
If I'm
Yeah, whenever Ruben comes back on, I miss hearing from Ruben because he was obsessed with this over here about the Milwaukee Intermoto and everything. Yeah, this is actually not a bad looking station here too. They redid it because it was from what I've heard, and you know, my wife is a Milwaukee native. It was an absolute disaster before, and they destroyed the beautiful kind of similar to what happened to Penn Station. They did this to a whole bunch of places, but Milwaukee had a beautiful central station. Then it was destroyed. Then they built some crappy thing. Then they got rid of that because nobody liked it. Now they built this, which is better. But I mean, this is not really memorable, but I guess better than what it was before. But I mean, the good thing is that you have the Northeast Regional, or not. I'm sorry, not the Northeast Regional. Why is this here? They're probably using some the equipment from there, or borrowing the equipment from the Northeast Regional. But yeah, a whole lot of Midwestern trains through here. You have the Hiawatha. There you go, Amtrak Midwest. So yeah. Look, it can work. So it obviously works when you put the effort to it, and it's just a matter of time that once our generation gets more power, at some point it's just going to happen. We'll start seeing railroads again. We will start seeing it again.
And Dimitri, I do want to bring up, I was talking to a friend of mine who came down from Wisconsin today, from Milwaukee. He told me that they've been talking about building a commuter rail before it got shot down to the ground. They were talking about doing a commuter rail system, and they were also talking about trying to do an Amtrak train to Green Bay, which that got shot down to the ground.
Oh man, you know how many people would take that whenever there's a Green Bay game? Come on. That is so silly. Why would they shoot that down?
That's a no-brainer.
I know.
Like,
No,
I was
that-
talking to a friend of mine who just came down from Wisconsin. He told me this. He said, Dad, why in the hell would they not do an Amtrak train from Milwaukee to Green Bay? He said that would do so much for the communities that would be along the rail line. Plus, it would bring in so much money.
Yeah, you're just you're going to be packing a lot of money with that one, pun intended. You will be packing in a lot of money.
The problem that there were a few problems that they had leading up to the ground of that train. One of course now being obvious was the equipment shortage. They would not have the equipment to do it. And
but you want to know?
I think the freight railroad that owns the line rejected the offer of having that train.
Oh man, they're missing out then. Or I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the story, but yeah, that's look. That is just come on. That's look. Green Bay to Milwaukee. I mean, come on. That is just come on. Obvious to go ahead and do it up to Green Bay. Come on.
Obvious. It's so obvious.
They have the Packers there.
Freight railroad
the
could run
Packers
that
there.
train.
Yeah. And put it like right in front. Just put it to Lambeau Field. There you go. Look, there's. Is that a railroad that goes across? There you go. Here's a railroad that goes across. There you go. Right here. Right here. Come on, obvious.
Dimitri.
Up to Green Bay. Come on. All right, whose mic is going? Because I'm getting feedback over here. Yeah. Put it like right in front. I think Darius. I think it's your mic. Or somebody's mic.
Turn your mic off.
Here's a railroad that goes across. Yeah, it was Darius. Darius, your mic's got to be off. It's getting feedback somewhere. Somebody's getting feedback. All righty.
Hey, at least we know the stream's working, dude, right?
Okay. Well, there you go. We have a business opportunity. So we'll just Guys, we have to do this now. We have to we got to get Ruben back also to get this going. We're gonna do a Milwaukee to Green Bay high speed rail. That's we're doing this.
go.
Let's go.
Take a deal.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Milwaukee to Green Bay or Chicago to Milwaukee?
No, Chicago to Milwaukee's
Why not
already.
both?
That's already. Yeah, why not both? Yeah, there you go. We can do both.
There you go. Well, yeah, really shouldn't. Well, I would just okay. Chicago to Milwaukee is already a pretty fast trip. So
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Let's do
Exactly.
Milwaukee to Green Bay and then just like compete it. Let's get something that the market is not doing. Let's put our business caps on here. Let's do something that
or
let's serve a
just do
demand.
Chicago to Green Bay.
Yeah.
Do a direct Chicago to Green Bay, so then they don't have to change trains. They
There
just
you go.
stay on the train.
Oh, we make a stop in Milwaukee and probably I don't know wherever else, maybe Kenosha, Sheboygan, and then
Appleton.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I think they need to connect that. That's a growing region. That is a very growing region.
Demetrius,
Guys,
Wow.
I have to bring that
we are talking about Amtrak.
When I was
excuse
talking
me,
to my
David.
friends from Wisconsin, they also told me that the airline to do a flight from Milwaukee to Green Bay. So the airlines are behind this.
Probably, but I mean, it's like who's like you can't. That's not mass travel. I mean, the people who are going to be taking a flight between Milwaukee to Green Bay probably have enough money to go ahead and do that all the time. It's really ridiculous. Anyway, Brightline fan, you were saying something before.
Speaking about Amtrak, listen, Amtrak needs to improve their maintenance problems. Amtrak needs
Yeah,
to
well,
improve
that's been something the Amtrak's need to do. Look, at least they're not the Mexican Navy. Let's put it that way. I'm surprised nobody's mentioned that. I've like mentioned it like twice just to see if anybody would react to it. But I mean, what was that?
That too.
I don't
Talk about
know.
the ship.
Yeah.
What happened
Oh,
with
should have
human
went to
error?
grid.
It was human error. Engine failure. What happened was the engine failed and
Maybe.
someone forgot
Yeah.
the tide was coming in. So when they pulled the boat out, the high tide that was in the
Hey,
engine.
Brightline should compete with Amtrak.
Okay, wait. We're talking about what? Okay, one thing at a time here. Okay, let's talk about what happened over with
New York City,
yeah.
yeah, that one hit the news quick.
Look, when I first saw that ship, I thought it was like, is this like a party boat, like one of those pirate party boats that you see in
think it
Key
is
West
a-
or
I
something
think it
like
was
that?
a pirate
That's
boat.
what I
Red-
thought.
I see like a sailboat.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. So here we go. For those of you who've not seen it, because at this point, I think everybody has already seen this, but here you go. Mexican navies,
And it left people dangling from the top of
Cuauhtémoc, or however they pronounce that. Not too good with my Aztec here. Not that I ever was. Spanish-built bark with 277 crew members collided with the Brooklyn Bridge in New York City just before 9 p.m. One of the ship's 150-foot mast struck the bridge, snapping and triggering a large-scale search and rescue operation. Yeah, because there was a whole bunch of people that were up on top of that. Anyway, this is just weird. Bridge appears undamaged pending official confirmation. Yeah, like I said, things were so like yeah,
It's actually wooden ship that went to the bridge.
yeah. I mean, the way that Brooklyn Bridge is built, I mean, you're just not gonna knock that
Yeah,
down. But
but-
here you go for anybody who hasn't seen it yet.
And then I got a wooden ship.
Well, I seen it when I was there in New York,
It's like
but
two picks.
also I want to bring it up that what happened in New York was when they made a mistake. There were two things that happened. One, when they were coming in, their engine failed. Two, if the tide was coming in, it was high tide going in, and they forgot. They made the mistake.
Wait, what did they
and
forget? What was the big mistake that they made?
That the tide was coming in.
Oh yeah.
So they
That
didn't
means that
they
the
couldn't put
water
any
was
they couldn't put an
higher.
anchor down or anything like that. Just like drop an
Yeah.
anchor.
No, what
Well,
really happened was
What do they have on
this
ship?
guy that there was a high tide, and they fit There was no other way that ship would have gotten there unless there was a low tide, and then they forgot about the high tide. So even if they did everything, the engines didn't fail, they would not be able to get out of that harbor at all.
Oh, that for sure.
Yeah, it's just like any other boat. They got to know the low tide and high tide.
Mhm.
Okay,
There's a reason-
Darius, we'll let you speak, but you have to turn off. You have some feedback or something. You have something on speaker, so we're listening to each other twice, and it's interrupting everything. So let me know when you have that fixed.
It's like,
May,
it's like
may I speak after him?
Yeah, go ahead. All right, so Renell, well, go ahead. You were saying?
I
All right, guys, let Renell speak. Okay.
Close out the YouTube. Close out the
interrupting
YouTube live
feedback.
stream.
All right, are we good? All right. Okay, so YouTube live stream, we're good on here. Okay.
I turned mine
I have
off.
it going.
Okay, yeah, we're all good. We're all good. Okay, Renell, go ahead.
Hey, congratulations again on your wedding.
Thank you,
You
man.
didn't hear me before.
No, I heard you loud and clear the first time, but of course, any congratulations I'll take. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Like,
I'm
I
gonna
can
kind of
definitely-
throw in the Japanese trains here. I like the way they look, and I saw like a video documentary. It was like a timeline of the innovations starting in the 1960s through all the way through the N700 series. Now, if you put together a timeline like, hey, this is what Amtrak trains looked like back in 1980, and here's what they look like through 2025. I think they're exactly the same as they were then. Basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have.
No
I mean, they
innovations.
just recently started to change, and mainly the reason because of that change was because of Brightline.
Mhm.
They're just basically copying Brightline's
Yes.
homework. But I mean, look, that's better than nothing. That's better. But yeah, I mean, it's just incredible what the Japanese were able to do with their bullet trains. I mean, that was the main reason why I got into saying, you know, why don't we just do the same thing? Because it was after, and Darius, if you can fix your mic, you can chime on this as well, because this was part of part of the whole history of the club was when we were going from Miami to New York all the time on Amtrak. I mean, it took 36 hours that one trip, and then we just got so ticked off. But when I got to the hotel, put on National Geographic, and they were talking about exactly about the Japanese Shinkansen system. I was like, whoa, shoot, we could have already had this already in America since probably the 1970s if we really wanted to. If we really cared and we really wanted to do something, yeah. But I mean, now we're way behind. We're catching up, albeit slowly,
we
but
are.
we can get there. Yeah. But I mean, look at this, and this is
But hey, Brightline was first
Yeah.
to innovate.
Yeah, so you can see this is from right to left over here. This is like all the different types of bullet trains that they have over in Japan. This is an older one. This is like a Series 100 over here, and to the left of it is the E5 Shinkansen, the Hayabusa, which is one of my favorites. I mean, but look at just in 40 years. The difference between something that looks like a jumbo jetliner to something that looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. It's incredible what they were able to do. It changes in innovation.
And Demetrius, I will bring it up. That one of the reasons why we have not had high-speed rail that much in the country, one, big automobile, big oil, and the airlines, like they are all cahooting together,
Yeah. Meanwhile,
really
this is Amtrak. Here's Amtrak in the 1990s, and then here's Amtrak now, more or less. But anyway,
Basically the same.
yeah.
Like there were cahooting left and right.
Basically the
like,
same
that's
trains
wild.
we've had forever.
Oh man, but 9-day difference, guys. 9-day difference. All right. Yeah. For those of you not seeing on Discord, it's the Genesis. Not to poke any fun at Genesis here in the chat, but yeah, it's the Genesis.
And then the F40s.
Okay, Darius, I think did you fix your stuff now? I think it's working now. Let's hear from Darius. Darius, are you there?
I was, yeah.
Heck.
None taken.
All right,
None
I'm
taken.
keeping on my live stream because when
Is
my
he-
live stream cut off
Darius.
at the 47-minute mark earlier, and we're right now at 45-minute in. So I'm hoping it don't cut off again. You know?
Yeah. Well, let's make it easier now. Let's go ahead and start bringing it in. Let's we're closing in on 9:45, so let's close it up at 9:45. Let's get in some last words here.
I'm just gonna go scroll through all the stuff that we didn't get to talking about yet.
Okay, what else do we want to talk about? We got 10 minutes or less than 10 minutes. Go ahead.
Much better.
Yes, I can hear you.
Think about it.
Let's see what other articles we have over here. Let's also look at the chat because I've been looking. There's been some interesting topics of conversation going on in the YouTube chat over here. So that's pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
I saw- I saw good-
Have you seen the Crayola paint scheme on the
Yep.
ATS 64?
Yep.
Oh, speaking of Dimitri, I want to bring it
I
up
didn't see it.
that
I've seen it.
that transit project I have for my hometown that I'm planning for here for Trenton, South Carolina. I'm going to be planning it soon. It's going to be like a 2-episode series, and I'm probably going to need you for both episodes for some parts. You know?
Yeah, sure. Let me know, man. We'll go ahead and coordinate on that and get that going.
Because one, and I'm going to say this, that they're both beginning construction in about a week and a half on the new BRT from here in Charleston. They're both to begin that very soon, you know?
Great.
And thing that I'm hoping for, I want to educate people onto it and why we should have not went with it and why we should have went with a computer rail or a light rail system instead. Because here, Jane, I done looked at the plan for the BRT system here in Charleston for the ideal. Total boondoggle.
Yeah, no,
It's not
that sounds like
No.
it sounds very silly.
Yeah, it is.
Like
Wait,
we even talked about it a couple of years ago. Like almost a year ago, we talked about it, and I showed you the plan for the BRT here in Charleston. And you even agreed with me that it's not going to work.
Here's why
Like,
they actually.
Most BRT in the United States, it's lackluster, it's mediocre. The biggest boost in probably ridership it gets is the
Alright,
first day it
guys,
comes
am I
out,
back?
and
Am
then
I
that's
back?
it. Okay, Darius, you're back now.
Yeah.
All right,
And
go
it's
ahead.
also it's
Am I back?
against
Yeah, okay, Darius.
transit
Yeah,
when you have BRT.
most BRT in the United States, it's
I still hear it.
Okay, Darius, you still have something in the background, man. It's still whatever you have in the background. Turn it
the
off.
other stream or whatever you're using down, please. I know you're using more than one device.
Darius, if you have your phone that's getting the stream, you got to turn it off.
I think I muted my YouTube video.
Okay, good. Now it's good. Now it's good. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's muted, but
Go ahead.
don't take it off of mute.
All right,
Keep it on mute.
As I posted there's been turboprop airways that still actually serve between Miami and Orlando through Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, was it like an island hopper or something like that, or people going from, let's say, like a Caribbean island, and then they take another connection via turboprop, I guess.
That,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the same kind of
it's
turboprop
expensive.
airliner.
Yeah.
For Key
vendor
Largo, it makes
hopper.
sense. I mean, for Key West, it makes sense, but for Orlando, it's not just kind of a little bit tiny bit impractical, but
Yeah, it's
There's actually
impractical. That's what it is.
A321s flying from MIA to Orlando.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure what will start happening, and this has happened in every country.
You know what? They do
Bel-
that because they're trying to compete.
yeah.
It
So
doesn't
so
happen in that corridor, like with the small planes that you're talking about.
You
It's
know
just
what?
happening in
Right.
that corridor.
So I mean, and here's the thing: every time that high-speed rail or any sort of high-speed intercity line is introduced between city pairs, what starts to happen is that market share on the railroad increases, and a market share for passengers on flights connecting to the same places in the region also decrease. That's why Belgium. There's no more domestic flights within Belgium. Now, Belgium's a small country, but if you compare, let's say, Belgium to South and Central Florida, we're talking maybe more or less the same size. So that's probably going to start happening.
Also,
Yeah.
France doesn't really have any domestic flights
Yeah,
either.
and
It's
France is a
mostly
large
high-speed
country.
trains.
France is about the size of Texas, more or less. Give or take, about the eastern end of Texas is about the same.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
reason-
but
and
France
you know
also
what?
banned all commercial flights under 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Just so
Yeah,
they
so
can
that's
instead of
mostly
just
because
rail.
it's all
the
covered by
problem-
rail and regional trains and sleeper trains at this
So the
point.
reason, well, those sound like great things. The problem here is that airlines make money, but it's still a waste. Why do we have these short flights anyway? It's
That's
You
how
have
they
to
make
go to
most of their
the-
money because
Because
get to
people
the
need to get
airport.
from point A to point B. They're going
They
to
should,
choose the
they should
fastest
run
method.
longer flights.
I mean, they should
Hey,
actually
guys,
focus
let's-
on international flights
fly
or
them.
heck.
Who's
Or
buying
heck,
them? I'll bet $100 no
I
one
just figured
pays
it out now.
a
I just
plane
figured it
from
out now.
Miami to
Well,
Orlando.
the low budget airlines, they
I just
have
figured
a
it out
place
now. That's
in
probably
some
why the
cases.
airports are so
Right.
airports are so
Busy? Yeah.
how do I say it? The
Because-
airports are so clogged up with
Hey guys,
all
can
the
I speak on the
unnecessary
reason
flights.
why?
Yeah.
Also, we have an old air traffic
was
control
outdated.
system that still needs to be updated. Like
Yep.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
still using
disaster.
Funniest
Old and
and radar from the 70s.
Yeah, because
Never use an old
yeah, no,
technology.
it's pretty silly. I mean, the whole country needs to be updated. We need an entire update here in this country. Let's hear.
With aviation, rail, road, seaports,
So ARC, the problem
our
now,
power grid
they're
too.
updating that system.
Utilities.
Yeah,
Yes.
guys, one at a time, please.
One at a time, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
One.
The only domestic flights that they must allow to the U.S. are Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico. That's it. And Guam as well.
But
Or
what about the
anything that's
long
over
but what
500
about
miles.
the
makes
long?
sense why.
That's
Yeah.
a little bit quite extreme. What about the long hauls between New York and California?
I think he's saying domestic flights within states.
Domestic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
domestic-
It's about short. It's
Not
about short
only
flights,
on it,
medium flights, or
no.
long flights.
Hear me out on some of these.
Not
Like if
not
you want to do,
not New York to
they can
DC.
do certain flights like
No, New York to
Chicago.
DC, just put them on a train.
Miami,
Yeah.
Key Largo, it makes sense.
Okay, guys, stop. Okay, so somebody mentioned. Okay, so here's a good point. Somebody mentioned New York to DC. Funny enough, because and here we have. Why am I talking about every other country when we have an example in our own country that works? So the Acela serves between Washington and New York. If I remember correctly, Amtrak has about 60% market share over the amount of travelers between DC and New York. It's not not too many people fly between DC and New York. They all take the Acela, more or less.
Pretty much.
And
In
worse
fact, hold
about
on.
it is Amtrak on that line is considered subpar with 60%. Imagine if they were average with a regular European or East Asian system.
Let's go ahead and ask Rock.
They probably have more than 80%.
to get it up.
Yeah, it probably is. Okay, let me ask Rock. What percentage of travelers between DC and New York take Acela versus domestic flights?
So ARC,
Acela cannot come soon enough to sell it to.
we still have
Flights,
Yeah, wait.
flights
You
or
were talking
driving.
about how we need to update our system. our air traffic control system. The problem.
Here we go. Wow. Okay. Here we go. So data. Okay, guys. Okay. Stop. Okay. So data from 2021 indicates that Amtrak, Acela, and Northeast Regional Services together captured an 83% share of air train commuters between New York City and Washington D.C., up from 37% in 2000. So there you go. It works in our country. It flippin' works. That's why the airlines don't want it. It will kill them. They'll lose.
Or they have to shift their focus.
And it will work between Miami and Orlando.
Hold on. One at a time.
Airlines have to lose. Besides the green that
They have to
besides
lose
the
the
green.
So I'm gonna make this really quick. So ARC.
Those short hop flights
Okay. Wait. Dump trucker first, then Darius, then David. Go.
So you talked about how we need to update the air traffic control system around the nationwide. The problem with that is that you would have to go from airport to airport to airport. That's going to cost billions.
Oh yeah,
Probably
that's
billions of
already
dollars.
been under way for quite a while. I think by the end of the decade or before the end of the decade, we should have a modern air traffic control system. It was first started by the first Trump administration, but Biden put it on hold. I don't know why, but we really
Because
need it.
Biden hated what Trump was
Regulation
doing.
is
Biden
going to be a
never
big
paid
killer.
Trump
Regulation was
was
the
being
big
successful.
tender.
One at a time.
Yeah, and we need to slash and burn all these regulations, and even for like existing infrastructure like the NEC, just to update the alignment, that requires approval, even if it's within their own land. I
And then
can give you a
permit
couple examples.
Takes like
Yeah.
6 months. Seems like
Yeah.
the regulations are doing more harm to the movement of
Than
people and infrastructure
Yep.
and
But I
environment that they're supposed to protect.
Right.
They're
Exactly.
doing more harm than good.
Yep, and I can give you a
Overall, in the
brief
end.
example with New
The
York.
way it's rigged.
DC. Right now, what you can do to cut 30 minutes off the current journey time is straighten that S curve out at Elizabeth and also improve the curve at Frankfurt Junction.
So the curve
That-
at Elizabeth, that's going to be really hard to straighten, especially with houses and businesses there.
Actually, there's enough space to do it within existing alignment. You would have to require
Within the existing right of way.
Guys, I think we have to. Let's save this conversation when the Avalia becomes for public ridership. I know we could talk more into detail about the Northeast corridor because we're getting into something. This is good conversation. I like this, but I think this will be better served once we start talking about Amtrak fully because we're past our time here.
Yeah, knowing them, it's
yeah.
going to be probably next month or the month after when they get it opened.
Yeah, so hold the thought, hold it for a month. We'll get back to it. We will get there. All right, guys. This was a good topic conversation. We this was good. For sure. So we're back in the swing of things. I'm a married man now. We're gonna start putting this and it's gonna be good. We have a lot of good stuff planned out for the channel. Catherine may start working and helping out with this as well. So we're gonna try out a couple things here to try to boost some more into the channel. Let's get back past that 25,000 mark. We're going to get to that 30,000 subscriber mark. We're going to start putting out actual videos again. So now all the hard stuff and everything that we were planning and talked about, it's behind us. So now we can start moving forward. We can start making the videos again. We can start doing all that. So I'm settled in my job, settled in my marriage. We can start moving stuff here again. So I'm sorry, guys. I mean, you guys are not, again, it's not that you're lower priority in the scale. It's just that I got like some other things I had to work on in life, and now I can finally get this back on the road again.
It's fine. It is perfectly fine.
It looks like it's
We've all had our challenges
after
and
9:45 time.
detours to deal with.
Can I speak because everybody kept on cutting me off?
All right, David, last thing. Go ahead, David.
You have the floor. Sorry, man.
didn't want to say that I'm going to say because I've been trying to say, but Dun Trucker, not trying to be mean to you, man. You got to moderate yourself. You keep on cutting everybody off.
All right, come on, David. Go ahead. Go ahead. You have the floor. Go.
One thing I'm going to say, if we deregulate the railroad, and I'm saying it, deregulate the railroad now, give it about 5 years or so, and we could be seeing a lot more passenger rails popping up, a lot more regional railroad popping up, and a ton more like commuter rails popping up. Stuff like
Here's the problem, David. Here's the problem, David. You know that you know how BNSF still wants to have those one-man crews, right?
Drop me, David.
Well, yeah, I think they're at least they're saying that they're going to keep the 2-man crews. But let's say, all right, let's keep this conversation for next time, guys. We're way past our time, but this was good conversation. Very glad to be back on board again. Okay, I know we're gonna we're past full over here with a whole lot of people here, so this is good, guys. I'm glad that we're getting here. All right, thank you all for joining on board. There's no more final things to say for anybody. I'm sorry.
We did a lot.
We did a lot. We'll do another lounge. We'll do another lounge next week. Okay, guys. We'll talk about that. But thank you all for coming on board.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
You should do a
Congratulations on the marriage.
Thank you, guys. All righty.
I hope everything's well, bud.
All right, let's let him do his outro.
I appreciate it. All right. We will see you all next time. Thank you all for joining on board.
We'll see you next time.
Good night. Take care. Godspeed.
Good night.
Bye.